to Hartman. Hartman sends this one on a rope out over the wall. Liftoff for Jensen Hartman. Payoff pitch. Strike three called. The 0-1 and Metakosh the other way, deep to the gap and gone. As Rittenauer sends it out deep, Metakosh gives a charge and it's gone. Charge gets the sign, the wind, and the 0-2. Strike three. As this one's chopped up the line, going to be a tough play for Long. Runner comes home to score, and the throw is not in time. Sends this one in the air, right side, back, and that one bounces, and it gets to the wall. DeMoss off to the races. Fesco will score. There comes Vashelia. It's a two-run double for Joey DeMoss. Semifinals here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 2 versus 3 as number 2 South Allegheny takes on number 3 Deer Lakes, as it's Alex Lyons and Liam Bellin, our new intern here at Team MVI. Appreciate you stepping on in the broadcast today, joining me after doing 2 games solo last evening. It's definitely a pleasure to have someone alongside today.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to, get my first experience here with the network and everything, and I think we have a good one for us here today.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun between South Allegheny and Deer Lakes. These two teams actually were supposed to start their season against each other. That game was postponed, as so many games were this season, but they get their matchup, and they get it here in the WPIAL 3A semifinals. The curse is over for Coach Stockett and the South Allegheny Gladiators, as they have been unable to make it past the second round for what seems like forever. They got the first round bye. They were able to take care of business against Keystone Oaks in round number 2 in the quarters, winning by a final score of 10-4. On the other side, Deer Lakes got here by beating Waynesburg Central 3-2. Almost got a rematch of 2 thrillers this year. South Allegheny played Waynesburg Central, beating them 4-3 earlier this year at home. Also beat them at lost them at Waynesburg 14-9. South Allegheny, that was their lone section loss of the season. So looking at that, with it being known, it should be a very good game between these two teams, the way it kind of lines up. And when you get to the semifinals, you expect a good matchup any time of things. Many people thought Sarah Catholic in baseball side of things was untouchable. Number 5 Riverside, it took a walk-off win for Sarah to beat them last evening. And, South Allegheny, they're trying to get back to the title. They and many people kind of thought they may have been slated and should have been the 1 seed over Avonworth, but, they're here at the 2 seed, and they're still just 1 win away from getting to the championship game at Cal U.
Yeah, you're saying exactly what I was going to bring up. As anytime you get into or this deep into the tournament, I should say, anything could happen, and you have 2 teams here that are certainly deserving of this opportunity. Like you said, South Allegheny could have potentially looked at a 1 seed this year. Instead, they've gotten themselves this far as the number 2, and make no doubt about it, 1 or a 2 seed, regardless of their seeding, they believe that they can win, and I think they have the ability to do so.
Yeah, and sometimes that's not always the bad thing. You look at, even go down to the classification in 2A, the left side of the bracket, which features the 1 seed, is a lot tougher than the 2 seeds' path to the championship game in 2A. So sometimes not always the worst thing, as these 2 teams both just 1 win away from a WPIAL title appearance at California, as it should be a great game between number 2 South Allegheny, number 3 Deer Lakes. Anthem coming up shortly. Then we will, of course, go through starting lineups some more right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, as an absolutely great day for some WPIAL softball. And even if it's not, we're in a press box, so I'm very happy about that today.
Yeah, honestly, compared to the setup that they had yesterday, that I was out at Norwin High School doing a few games, and they did set up a tent for us because it did rain, so it was nice to have that. But again, being up here in the press box, it's a pretty nice setup for a Whitfield High School, I would say. So good job by West Mifflin here, and they're going to be good hosts to a good game.
Their team went out in the 4A bracket yesterday, losing to number 2 seeded. That was one of our Valley own in the Elizabeth Forward Warriors, as the 4A quarters were absolute thrillers yesterday from Norwin. We'll have more coverage on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIO postseason tomorrow. That will be from Norwin High School, as we will see 2 games. We'll see both Elizabeth Forward and Burrow, along with Fraser and Olsh, as should be a lot of fun here this afternoon. Again, these two teams supposed to play each other beginning of the year. Did not happen. Last time they met was in 2018. South Allegheny won both of those. 17, both wins went to Deer Lakes. Last time they met in the playoffs, 2015 first round. That was a 4-2 win for Deer Lakes. And the last time SA won in the postseason back in 2011, that was in the 3rd place game, and that was a 6-2 win for South Allegheny. South Allegheny finished first in probably the toughest section inside of 3A. That is Section 3. They were atop of Waynesburg, Southmoreland, Mount Pleasant. That rematch with Southmoreland, still a possibility. They're taking on Avonworth, the 1 seed. And the reason you say it's so tight, Mount Pleasant is a 4 seed at a single-digit seed, and they almost took down number 1 seeded Avonworth. And then on the other side, Deer Lakes atop of Valley, North Catholic, Dairy, and Shady Side Academy.
You know, I'll say it again. You get this deep into WPIAL play, anything can happen. You see a 2 seed here in South Allegheny. You see 1 seeds across the board. You know, in baseball, softball, regardless of, you know, what you're watching here in WPIAL action, all these teams are competitive. All of these teams, any given day, you know, they're able to take a game from one another. So that's what makes these playoffs so special. And I think that there's going to be no different here today. I think that these two teams are pretty evenly matched, and you know, either one, it wouldn't be a surprise if either one ended up winning. And we'll get to see it here live.
And a chance for another Valley team to make the WPIO championship game, as we'll keep it here for the playing of the national anthem comeback lineups in the start right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIO postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Good luck, ladies. Play ball.
Anthem played, softball next. As we get set for the start from West Mifflin High School, Deer Lakes will be batting first here in inning number 1. Lyda Guthrie will lead off. She is out in right field. Batting second will be Jenna Basania, the senior first baseman. In the 3-hole, Cheyenne Sarah, the junior shortstop. Batting fourth will be the pitcher, Maddie Key. In the 5 spot, it's Reese Hazley, the senior center fielder. Batting sixth, Tina Germanich, the sophomore catcher. In the 7th spot, it's Anna Bokulich, and batting 8th will be Keegan Cook, the senior left fielder. In the 9th spot, Delaney Kaiser, the junior third baseman for the Deer Lakes Lancers. As getting set to dig in will be Lyda Guthrie. Guthrie, 4-year varsity player here for the the Deer Lakes Lancers. under head coach Rick Serra. As Brina Karmerninski continues to loosen up for SA, one of the best in the business when it comes to pitching.
And again, I think that this could potentially be a pitcher's duel here today. You have two strong pitchers at this point in the tournament with Maddie Key and Brina Karmerninski, like you said. And again, I think that when you look at both of these teams and their track records throughout this season, the resume, if you may say, South Allegheny coming in as a 2 seed, very much deserving, and it'll be a good one here today, and I'm interested to see who will be able to punch their ticket.
As digging in here is Guthrie against Brina Karmerninski. The senior pitcher for Coach Jen Stockett here as SA trying to get back to the big dance. It's been a long time for the Gladiators. Last time they were in the semis was back in 2011. They lost to Burrow. First pitch swinging in the air, shallow center, no issue. Peyton Limley ranging to her left. 1 up, 1 down on the F8. Dranko, Limley, Gordon left to right in the SA outfield. Kirkwood at third with Pakula at short. Martinelli at second, Peyton Linhart at first, and Karmerninski being caught by Morgan Mosquita. As the first lefty, Jenna Basania, the senior first baseman, will dig in for the Deer Lakes Lancers against the righty Brina Karmerninski.
Yeah, an easy play there for Limley just to range over, and again, some soft contact into the outfield. Easy play to be made, routine at center.
Another 4-year varsity player for the Deer Lakes Lancers takes ball 1. Basania, not just a great athlete, great student as well. National Honor Society, French National Honor Society, the secretary of that. Very active student. As a little flare out to short, and Madison Pakula on the P6 records out number 2, and that will bring Cheyenne Sarah.
Again, another routine play for South Allegheny. 2 straight plays with soft contact made by hitters, so that's encouraging to see early on if you're the Gladiators.
8th straight playoff appearance for head coach Stockton and her South Allegheny Gladiators. Last year was their first playoff win since 2017 versus Freedom. As first pitch grounder, there's Pakula again. Pakula to Lindhart. 3 up, 3 down, 6-3 ends the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We've played 1/2 inning on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Your score, Deer Lakes, 0. SA coming to bat against Maddie Key and the Deer Lakes Lancers, and Key has been absolutely spectacular this season for Deer Lakes. As on the season, 100 strikeouts, 132 or 1.32 ERA, I should say, for the sophomore southpaw Maddie Key. As leading off will be Madison Pakula, batting second, and pitching will be Brina Karmerninski. Ava Martorelli bats third. She's at second base. Peyton Linhart will bat clean up the first baseman, followed by Peyton Limley out in center. Morgan Mosquita in the 6th spot. She will do the catching today, followed by Sydney Gordon out in right. Batting next will be Lulu Kirkwood at third, and batting in the 9th spot will be Lily Dranko. She is in left field today for Coach Jen Stockett in the South Allegheny Gladiators. One of the top 1 through 9 lineups we have the pleasure of covering throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and again, we've said it before, 2 good pitchers here today. You got a pretty solid inning from Karmerninski to start the game. Now you want to get the offense going, and she'll be able to step into the batter's box in this bottom of the first. So we'll see if she can get something going, or again, any of these stellar players throughout the lineup for the Gladiators.
Here's Madison Pakula, the senior shortstop, trying to get the first hit of this game and start this game off the right way for South Allegheny. As the lefty Key toes the rubber, rocks and deals home to Pakula. Inside ball 1. Nobody on, nobody out. 1-0 count on the lefty, Pakula. Key rocks and deals home. Catches the inner third. Count pulls even 1-1 on Madison Pakula, the senior shortstop. Karmerninski on deck. The 1-1. That one skied up right side of the infield. Bokulich under it, makes the catch, 1 up, 1 down. Soft contact all around. As we'll take a look around the diamond, Kaiser at third, Sarah at short, with Bokulich at second and Basania at first. Cook, Hazley, Gunther, left to right in the outfield, with Key being caught by Germanich here this afternoon from West Mifflin High School. Pitch by Key. Outer third, strike one to the senior, Brina Karmerninski.
And again, another routine play there defensively, this time for Deer Lakes. Just a pop-up out to second, easy play to be made for Deer Lakes.
As inside pitch, left side, gets past the third baseman, on to Sarah, but it's an infield single for Brina Karmerninski. And SA gets the first hit of the game.
Yeah, really good job there to beat that one, because it got deep into the infield and she was just able to leg it out. It was a good stretch at first there from Baskina, and she just couldn't quite, or the throw wasn't quite in time, I should say. So there goes the first hit for South Allegheny.
Pitch by Key home. Outside ball one to Ava Martorelli, the sophomore, second baseman. SA led by 6 seniors. All play a different leadership role for this Gladiators team. Pitch by Key home. That one swing and a miss. Strike one on Ava Martorelli, the sophomore, second baseman.
When you have such an experienced team like that, too, it really helps when you get into these deep games where win or go home type situation. It's good for the Gladiators to have that kind of experience for sure.
It also shows how much more important it is to make sure you take care of business this year. You don't know how much more of an opportunity you have when you're led by 6 seniors in your lineup. And, you know, Coach Stockett set some goals coming into the season. She wanted to win the section. They did that this year. As the pitch home. Fouled up, out of play. And another one was get past the second round of the playoffs. Getting the first round bye helped, and they were able to do that. Now you turn the table and say, we don't want to just get past the second round, which has been so hard for South Allegheny in recent years, but we want to make sure we get to the title game and get a chance to win it. As that one misses outside to Ava Martorelli.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The second round was kind of the monkey on the back for South Allegheny. They're able to shake that off now, obviously looking, like you said, to try and get into the title game, and then it's anyone's game. It's anyone's championship.
Payoff pitch. Right side in the air, no problem under that is Bokulich once again. Another pop-up to the second baseman. So Karmerninski at first with 2 down for Peyton Linhart, the senior first baseman. A big-time bat for this SA team. Again, last time this Gladiator team made the semifinals, it was back in 2011. They lost to Borough before beating Deer Lakes in the third-place game. Last time that the Lancers were here, first pitch, strike one to Peyton Lindley, was back in 2017. That's also the last time they made the WPIO championship before losing to Elwood City. Last championship was back in 2015 for Deer Lakes. Is that one outside? Snap throw back to first, not in time to get Brina Karmerninski.
Yeah, it looked like that may have been a pitch out, trying to get the runner at first, who's taking a bit of a lead there, and Karmerninski, so just trying to keep her in check.
Key rocks and deals home. Linhart swing and a miss, 1-2. Talked about that 2015 championship for Deer Lakes. They made 4 straight WPIAL title games from 2012 to 2015. They won their first and their last appearance. As that one misses outside. Count pulls even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 2 down. Nothing here in the bottom of the first inning between number 2 South Allegheny and number 3 Deer Lakes on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason. Here on the Triple Live High School Sports Network, 2-2, swing and a miss. Linhart strikes out to end the inning. So 1 punch out in the inning for Key. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 Gladiator left aboard. We've played 1 full inning. And your score, Deer Lakes and South Allegheny knotted up at 0.
Life is full of surprises. Some good, some not so good. It's why your State Farm agent is there with good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates for everyone. Yep, that's right. At State Farm, you get great service and great rates with every policy, so you can be prepared for all life's surprises. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. When you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Brian Warnick in Perryopolis today at 412-668-0111.
Back here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 0-0 after one inning of play. Maddie Key, Reese Hazley, Tina Germanich due up this inning for the Deer Lakes Lancers, trying to break through against Brina Karmerninski. Talking to Coach Stockett earlier in the week, very proud of her team, excited how they have moved through the postseason so far, said it's been a great experience. And, you know, Brina's pitched great all year, continued that in the first round for them, which was the quarterfinals. But, you know, very impressed with how our teams battled through some adversity when they faced it. And they've always continued to pick each other up. And it's a team that Coach Stockett believes is that one misses ball one, that if they are playing at their absolute best, they are unbeatable, which has not been the case this year. You know, at times they've hit 1 through 9, but struggled maybe in the outfield a little bit. And then we've seen other times where it's been what South Allegheny is capable of when we've seen them at their best, is a little flare out over the glove of Pakula, and it's a leadoff single for Maddie Key as the sophomore pitcher starts the party here in second.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there. No real chance for any Gladiator to make a play defensively, like you said, right over Pakula's head, just off to the side of her. So little blooper, if you will, to shallow left center, and you're on the board now with a single and a base runner for Deer Lakes. Now you're trying to advance her.
As we will see a courtesy runner, Lorenza, the freshman, running at first for the pitcher. So Lorenzo at first, nobody out, and here's Reese Hazley, the senior center fielder. Hazley, another 4-year varsity player here for the Lancers. Inside, ball one by Karmerninski, first team all-section center fielder last season. Also a basketball player for the Lancers. As we got a baseball over from the field to our left. We have the 6A semifinals between number 5 seeded Pittsburgh Central Catholic and number 1 Mount Lebanon. So ball comes into center field out to Peyton Limley. 1-0 the count here to the senior center fielder Hazley. As the count pulls even, snap throw not in time as Lorenza back over at first. And again, Hazley, she'll be going to continue her athletic career, not on the diamond, but on the hardwood. We'll be playing basketball for the Grove City Wolverines. The 1-1. Little bunt swing out the third. Kirkwood not in time to Limley, and it's an infield single for Hazley, putting runners at first and second with nobody out for Tia Germanich. As a big spot now for the sophomore.
Yeah, big opportunity now for Deer Lakes to capitalize. No outs. You've got runners on first and second. And again, for Germanich, it's just a matter of trying to put a ball in play. You could potentially score a runner from second, or at the very least, advance your runners, which it'd be huge to put up a run this early in the game if you're Deer Lakes.
Deer Lakes this season as a team batting .338. Germanich, the sophomore, 2 on, nobody out. Pitch home by Karmerninski, strike 1. And Brina Karmerninski absolutely is a strikeout caliber pitcher. That'd be a big time for her first of the contest if she can find a way to fan Germanich.
Yeah, she's got herself in a bit of a jam now. Like you said, that would be a big time play.
As Karmerninski up 0-2 now in the count. And beautiful day for some softball here in the 3A semifinals. Southmoreland, Avonworth on the other side of the bracket. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, nobody out. Brina Karmerninski getting the sign from Morgan Mosqueda. Steps off the rubber, now toes it back up. The 0-2 by Karmerninski. That one misses outer third. And that was an issue last game for Brina Karmerninski, according to her head coach. Thought she didn't get the calls that maybe she should have been in the zone, saying it was a very small strike zone against Keystone Oaks. The 1-2 by Karmerninski. Swing and a miss. Karmerninski strikes out Germanich, but on the drop by Mosqueda. Hazley and Lorenza advance 60 feet.
So a big strike out there, but runners able to advance. Not as good as it should have been for South Allegheny. Now you've got the first run of the game 90 feet, or I should say a bit closer, as South Allegheny has to get out of this rut.
Foul tip, strike 1 on Bokulich, the junior second baseman. This is a Deer Lake squad that a lot of these girls have been playing for Coach Sarah since they were 8 years old. Said he's very proud to watch how they've grown, not just as athletes, but as young ladies throughout his tenure of coaching them. And, you think about that, that's a lot of time having the same coach.
Yeah, it sure is. You build that chemistry, you build those relationships, and, again, like the quote there, it's bigger than just the sport and growing as athletes, but also as people. You're able to build those lifelong relationships.
0-2, Karmerninski outside with their eyes. Count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third with just 1 away here in the top of the second inning. Back-to-back singles by Key and Hazley. Germanich struck out. Both advanced on the drop third strike by Morgan Mosqueda. Lorenza at third, Hazley at second. The 1-2 by Karmerninski. Check swing and need. Back-to-back Ks for Brina Karmerninski. 2 up, 2 down after the first 2 reach. And that will bring up the 8-hole hitter in Keegan Cook. Another one of the seniors here on this roster is Cook. Plans on attending Penn State New Ken after graduation to do their 2-year radiological sciences program. Wants to become a radiologic technologist. So that's a lot of big words that I'm glad she understands, and we have people like her to come do that stuff that I have no idea about. The 1-0 by Brina Karmerninski. Little flare over the backstop as the count pulls even. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 in scoring position for Deer Lakes here in the top of the second.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll leave her to all that business, and I wish her the best in those endeavors, but I'm sure she'd rather continue playing for her high school here.
Grounder, there's Linhart, and Linhart 3 unassisted, so Brina Karmerninski works out of the early inning jam. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 Lancers stranded aboard the base pass. We've played 1.5 here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. And we're tied at 0 between number 2 South Allegheny and number 3 Deer Lakes. As we get set for the home half of inning number 2, Peyton Limley, Morgan Mosqueda, and Sydney Gordon do up this inning. A senior, sophomore, and freshman for the South Allegheny Gladiators. And South Allegheny came into the postseason beating Mount Pleasant 5-4 in their final game of the regular season. Mount Pleasant, team that was trying to put a scare into number 1 Avonworth, and I know personally I said I wouldn't have been surprised, especially with a girl like Katie Hutter in that lineup, if they would have found a way to beat the Avonworth Antelopes. They were unable to, as this was a very deep section in 3A. Again, you had SA, Waynesburg, Southmoreland, and Mount Pleasant all making their way to the quarterfinals. SA and Southmoreland still fighting in the WPIL postseason. So we almost saw Waynesburg Central here, which would have been the 3rd meeting in a split series between SA and Waynesburg Central. Instead, it's Deer Lakes and South Allegheny. First pitch swinging in the air, left side, just on the edge of the outfield grass. It's Sarah making the catch for out number 1.
Again, we've seen a lot of soft contact here early in this game, so a lot of pop-outs and a lot of easy defensive plays. So both pitchers doing their best to generate some pretty easy plays defensively for their teams.
Now the 3 hits in this game, I should say, 2 of them infield singles. The other one barely made it out of the infield, the one that got past the glove of Madison Pakulas. There's ball 1 on the sophomore catcher, Morgan Mosquita. 1-0. Evens things up, 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on, nothing game here. Bottom of the second inning between South Allegheny and Deer Lakes as that one gets inside and off the back of Morgan Mosquita. A 1 out hit by pitch puts Mosquita at first for the freshman Sydney Gordon.
I'm sure that's not how Mosquita would like to reach base, but at the same time, I think she'll take it any way possible. So now, with 1 out, South Allegheny able to get a base runner. It doesn't look like it's going to be Mosquita.
As they will see the courtesy runner for the catcher and the freshman Gina Connors.
So again, you get a runner on if you're South Allegheny with only 1 out. And now you're looking to just, put a ball in play, try and advance some runners and see if you can get something going. Deer Lakes almost was able to score the first runs of the game, stranded 2 in the top of this frame, but we'll see if South Allegheny can put the first runs up.
First pitch, strike 1, out or third by the lefty Key. And she's been outstanding. Her head coach, a lot of praise for Maddie Key, just a sophomore. Sub 1.5 ERA during the season thus far. Swing and a miss. As a hefty cut there by the freshman Sydney Gordon. One on, 1 out. That one misses outer third to the freshman Gordon. Lulu Kirkwood on deck for the South Allegheny Gladiators.
See if Key can add to the strikeout that she has here.
1-2 misses, count pulls even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Home half of inning number 2 in a scoreless softball game between number 2 South Allegheny and number 3 Deer Lakes here from West Mifflin. The 2-2. Struck her out looking. Key paints the outer third and Gordon is retired second. Punch out of the game for the sophomore southpaw. And that will bring up the third baseman Lulu Kirkwood.
Exactly what Deer Lakes needed from Maddie Key there. Just a really good job, able to put Gordon down on strikes.
First pitch, strike 1 to Lulu Kirkwood, the senior third baseman. Lily Dranko on deck for the Gladiators. Kirkwood would love to bring Dranko up. Actually, last time I got to see the South Allegheny Gladiators as Kirkwood swinging and miss. Dranko made an outstanding diving catch against the Ringgold Rams. As Kirkwood down, no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Connors running for Mosquito over at first. The 0-2, Kirkwood strikes out on 3 pitches. As Key back-to-back Ks to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 batter hit and 1 batter left aboard. We've played 2 full innings here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. And your score, SA and Deer Lakes tied up at 0.
Are you looking for stress-free car shopping at its finest? Well, then Davies Ford of Charleroi is the place for you. Located 728 McKean Avenue, Davies Ford has something for everybody with a wide selection of models from Ford. So come let us get you in that new car today at Davies Ford of Charleroi.
To get the Ford you want only, with the greatest of ease, pull on down to Davies.
9-1-2 to up this inning for the Deer Lakes Lancers against Brina Karmerninski of South Allegheny, as it's Kaiser, Guthrie, and Bassania for the Lancers trying to break through for the first run of this one here from West Mifflin.
Yeah, it's been two really good pitchers here doing their best for their teams thus far throughout this one, and Komarniski and Key. We'll see if Deer Lakes can try and capitalize. Last inning, almost able to score, had a runner on third.
First pitch low, bounces back off the turf all the way out to Brina Karmerninski in the circle.
You're going to get back to the top of your lineup as well, so potentially time for something to happen offensively for the Lancers.
Big spot here, the 9-hole. As it's 2-0, our colleague, of course, Jose Negro, on his favorite spot in the softball, baseball batting order, talks about the importance of turning the order around, and that's what Kaiser, the junior, will try to do here, trying to send it back up top with a runner on base. The 2-0 by Brina Karmerninski, skied up, right side, ranging in Gordon, but over is Limley, and Peyton Limley makes the grab for out number one on the F8, a long distance to be traveled, but Limley made it look easy.
Yeah, good communication out there between the two, and again, just a good job defensively by South Allegheny. Both of these teams have been pretty stout so far, pretty mistake-free ball played by both of these teams.
First pitch, swing and a miss, is pulling the strings on Guthrie. There was Brina Karmerninski. No balls, one strike, one out, nobody on. Top of the third inning in a scoreless game here from West Mifflin. Karmerninski, one of the most animated sequences on the circle you'll see in softball. Full body movement as that one's fouled off by the leadoff hitter and the senior right fielder, Guthrie.
You're definitely right about that. One of the more unique deliveries you'll ever see when it comes to whippeal softball and softball in general. The whole body goes into that delivery, but I mean, it works, so why change it?
As stepping back on the rubber, here's Brina Karmerninski. Karmerninski, the 0-2. That one outside. Count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. 2 hits so far for Deer Lakes, coming back-to-back to lead off the second inning. As Karmerninski back on the rubber, gets the sign from Morgan Musquita, the 1-2. That one bounces by Brina.
Yeah, clearly not what Komarniski wanted there. Looked like it slipped and eventually bounced in the dirt. So she'll look to rectify that here with a 2-2 count now.
Brina Karmerninski back on the rubber, the 2-2 home. Swing and a miss, Karmerninski. That's her third of the game as Brina punches out Guthrie for out number 2. And here comes Jenna Bassania. Bassania, the senior first baseman, the lefty, digs back in. Cross-country runner, cheerleader as well at Deer Lakes. Pitch on by Karmerninski. First pitch swinging, little flare charging in off of Kirkwood, fair ball. And that is going to be a single for Bassania.
Yeah, it was a really tough play there for Kirkwood to try and get in and get under that defensively. Just another bloop that we've seen be put in play by both of these teams, and they're able to reach for Bassania. So 2 outs, you get a base runner on if you're Deer Lakes.
Now here's the junior shortstop, Sarah, grounded out to Pakula. First pitch swinging foul down the first base line. Out of play, 0-1 on Shane Sarah. th straight time in the WPIAL postseason for the Deer Lakes Lancers. They've made 13 of the last 14 playoffs, the 0-1. That one misses, gets away from Musquita, as on the pass ball. It's going to be a free 60 feet for Jenna Bassania.
So now all of a sudden with 2 outs, you've got a runner at second if you're Deer Lakes. after it looked like you could potentially go down 1-2-3. You've got a chance here if you can advance this runner once again, and you're in the heart of your order.
1-1 misses 2-1 now, as that one rises up on Brina Karmerninski. Sarah grounded out to Madison Pikula, first time through the lineup. Karmerninski back on the rubber. Rocks and fires the 2-1. As that one misses up high as well. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 1 on. Nothing game between number 2 South Allegheny, number 3 Deer Lakes here in the top of inning number 3 from West Mifflin High School. The 3-1 by Karmerninski. And there's the walk with 2 outs to Sarah. So runners at first and second with 2 down for Maddie Key. A bloop single over the glove of Madison Pikula during her first AB. Taking it the other way was stranded at third. 2 on, 2 down for the second straight inning against Brina Karmerninski. Trying to strand her third and fourth base runners of this game. Pulls the strings on that one for strike 1 on the outer third to the left-handed hitting sophomore pitcher.
Yeah, really nice delivery there. But like you said, a bit concerning through 2 innings now. With 2 outs, you've had 2 base runners on if you're Karmerninski and South Allegheny.
Grounder through the right side, out to Gordon, rounding third, coming in to score is Basenia. Throw gets away from Kirkwood, and in to score as well will be Sarah. It's an RBI single for Key, and the second run comes in to score on the throwing error.
And I had previously just said, mistake-free ball for the most part from both of these teams. And there you see the first error, the first mistake defensively for either of these teams, and it allows an additional run for Deer Lakes to score. So what could have only been 1 run turned into 2, and now if you're South Allegheny, you're in a bit of a deficit. And again, this is more offense with 2 outs from Deer Lakes. They did a really good job there.
Here's Reese Hazley now, the senior center fielder, infield single, first trip to the dish. Runner at second. That's Lorenzo, the courtesy runner for the pitcher Key. First pitch chopper left side, stopped by Pikula, won't get her, but a great job by Pikula, making sure it stays only a 2-0 deficit.
Yeah, like you said, really good job by Pikula to get over and just keep that from getting out to left.
Here's Tia Germanich now, struck out against Karmerninski, and if you're Brina, she's got to find a way to get this batter here, keep it at 2-0. Your team more than capable of putting up 3 runs here in this contest. First pitch to Germanich. Strike 1 out of third, defensive indifference. And there's Hazley at second. So Lorenzo at third, Hazley at second for Tia Germanich. 0-1 the count. To the sophomore catcher, struck out against Karmerninski first time. 0-1, grounder, Pikula stops it in and out of her glove. Throw will go to third. They got her in the rundown, but back in safely is Hazley at second. It's an RBI single for Germanich, and it's 3-0 Deer Lakes.
And again, just trying to get out of this inning now is Karmerninski and South Allegheny, as it's another opportunity. You had 2 outs. You only needed 1 more. Instead, you allow more base runners, and with a few mistakes here and there defensively, you're now in a 3-run hole. So just right now, the opportunity to stop the bleeding is huge for South Allegheny. They need to do it now.
First pitch, ball 1 by Brina Karmerninski to Ann Baukulich. As Baukulich struck out first time. This one skied out to center. Peyton Limley under it, makes the grab to end the inning on the F8. But 8 runners and batters come to the dish. 3 come in to score. There was an error in the inning, and 4 hits by the Lancers. They strand 2 runners, but after 2.5 innings here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason, your score, Deer Lakes 3, South Allegheny nothing, as the Lancers strike first here in the third, as South Allegheny will look to regroup heading to the bottom of inning number 3. And if you're Maddie Key and Deer Lakes, you got to find a way to put up a 0. But if you're South Allegheny, you got to do what you've been great at doing this season, and something Coach Stockett was very adamant about, that her team has done great. That she says it's a team that needs to have fun and play as a team to be successful. If someone messes up, that situation, it's done, it's over with. We pick them up, we don't get down on them, and we learn from their mistakes and fix it. Well, you just made a couple mistakes, now you got to fix it. And this is the point I want to get to. She said, even if the other team scores, we come back the next inning and we do the same. We need to keep this up and keep up this momentum, and we will go far. And that's the thing. They have to find a way to answer. Not necessarily 3, but you got to get a run across. You feel like this inning. It's all going to start here with the sophomore Lily Dranko.
Yeah, they sure do. And I think, again, we've talked about their veteran experience, a lot of seniors on the team. I think this is when you start to look at some of the leaders on your team, some of the older players that have been here and done that before, to try and spark your team.
First pitch, ball 1 to Lily Dranko. South Allegheny down by 3. The 1-0. Evens up at 1-1 as that one paints the outer third by the lefty. 3-run top of the third by the Deer Lakes Lancers. The 1-1 to Dranko. Inside as Dranko has to shuffle back out of the way of that one, and headed out as Germanish to talk to her sophomore pitcher Key.
Yeah, just trying to make sure that she stays composed. And like you said, it would be huge for Deer Lakes to continue to limit South Allegheny offensively now with a decent lead here.
2-1 fouled off, make it 2-2. I think what a luxury this is going to be for the Lancers as time continues on, that your pitcher-catcher duo, they're just sophomores together. They will be together for the next 2 years as well. And that could be a very lethal duo, which it already is, as Dranko fouls that one up out of play to stay alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. 3-0. Deer Lakes lead South Allegheny. Here in the 3A semifinals. The 2-2. Dranko, a little roller off the glove of Key. Going to be a tough play, and it's going to be a leadoff base knock for Lily Dranko. As South Allegheny starts the bottom of the third the right way, looking to answer. As Key got her glove on it, and I think that was the only chance they had was Key. Even if it gets by her, that's going to be too slow to get to the middle infielders with Dranko's speed. So Lily Dranko able to just ricochet it off the glove of Key for a leadoff hit. First pitch, swing and a miss for Madison Pakula.
You were just talking about trying to turn the order over, and again, and there goes Dranko doing just that for South Allegheny at a time where they need it. Now down 3 runs. Now you've got your top of the lineup up with potential to put something together.
Pakula the bump, barehanded. Kaiser, it's late. Gets away from the first baseman, and that allows Dranko to go to third. So a single and an error for Madison Pakula. Puts runners at the corners with nobody out for Brina Karmerninski.
Yeah, really solid bunt there, drop down, and it was going to be a tough play, a bang-bang play at first. And again, the throwing error there allows Dranko to slide over to third. So now you've got first and third, no outs if you're South Allegheny. This is exactly the response that you needed.
And probably your best hitter at the plate, and Brina Karmerninski. Shows bunt, pulls back. There's strike 1, and there's Pakula at second. I think that's the only reason you saw bunt shown by Karmerninski. He had 0 thought of bunting. It's very similar to what Delaney Warnica Frazier did yesterday. That's just to fool everybody, get the runner over to second. Now you're going to see Brina swing away, trying to drive in 2. As Brina, a little roller out the short, going to be a tough play, going to be an RBI nonetheless. And an RBI ground out, just beating Karmerninski was the throw, by the shortstop, Sarah. So an RBI 6-3 ground out by Karmerninski cuts the lead down to 2. As Dranko scores the first SA run here today. Runner at third, 1 down for Martorelli, the sophomore second baseman. Trying to cut the deficit down to just 1. And that one in the air out towards the gap, ranging back. The center fielder Hazley makes the catch. Tagging is Paccola. She will score. It's a sac fly by Martorelli, and the lead's down to 1.
Yeah, so both Karmerninski and Martorelli not able to get hits themselves, but both able to drive in runs. And again, if you are South Allegheny, that's exactly the type of response that you needed after giving up 3 in the top of this frame. So a huge response here from the Gladiators.
Yeah, and you didn't have to pull even, but you had to feel like you needed something if you were South Allegheny, and that's what they did. There's a baseball. Strike 1 as fielded cleanly by Bo Kulich over at second. Second one we've seen come on. And, these fields are close, but it's not the worst I've seen. Plum's softball field, first base line lines up with left field of their baseball field. Luckily, there was no softball going on yesterday, but when I did the softball games there, I swear, swing and a miss by Limley, that we saw about 10 balls go into the left field mid-play. Right field or left fielder almost got hit a few times in the back for Seneca Valley.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that construction there.
As Linhart out towards the gap. That one bounces. Linhart rounding first. She's chugging for second. And it's a 2-out double for Peyton Linhart.
We've seen from Martorelli and Linhart now that soft contact start to turn into harder contact, as that's 2 really deep fly balls there that, obviously Martorelli's was caught, but there Linhart, that's able to drop in the gap there, and a double. Good job by her, and it's another 2-out rally, this time from South Allegheny.
First pitch strike to Peyton Limley. As back-to-back Peytons here for South Allegheny. Peyton Linhart, Peyton Limley. Both seniors, the center fielder. So I love the stance of Limley. This wide stance is able to really time things up well as this one skied up. And I guess on top of us, I never saw it come down.
Yeah, I was also looking for a ball to bounce there, and it didn't come back down. So up there, a souvenir on the roof.
I believe, I could be mistaken, as after this pitch, the 0-2 outside 1-2, that Don Rebel was telling me that I think it was here on the baseball side that a ball came through the backstop into the press box before. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is where Don told me that happened at. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Big strikeout there by Key to end the inning. So 2 runs come across the score. They do it on 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 Gladiator left stranded. After 3 full innings here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIL postseason on the Triple I High School Sports Network, your score, Deer Lakes 3, South Allegheny 2.
Hey, Jim Shorkey here. Just a reminder, if you haven't signed up for the Goal Achiever Challenge yet, please do right now. Don't procrastinate. Jump right on this. Just do it. Get it done. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So make sure you sign up for the Goal Achiever Challenge and check out Jim Shorkey's Pragmatist podcast. To check out that podcast and for more information, visit resultsfromthinking.com.
Into inning number 4 we go. It's a 1-run advantage for the Deer Lakes Lancers over the South Allegheny Gladiators. Cook, Kaiser, and Guthrie do up this inning. As the lefty senior Keegan Cook grounded out to Linhart. As there's another ball. This time it makes its way out to Gordon in right. Keegan Cook. Waits the pitch by Brina Karmerninski as we are underway here in the fourth. Bunt shown. Out the third. Kirkwood up with it. On to the second baseman. Martorelli covering. So it's a 5-4 retirement of Keegan Cook. Kirkwood to Martorelli.
Yeah, and there again is a solid defensive play from South Allegheny. Like you said, second baseman able to slide over and cover the bag at first, and a good play now.
First pitch, Delaney Kaiser, ball one. Karmerninski's fanned a total of 3 so far here in this one. Karmerninski on the rubber. Rocks and deals the 1-0. Make it 2-0 now on the right-handed hitting 9-hole hitter Delaney Kaiser. Flew out to Peyton Limley in center field. Back to start last inning. 1 out, nobody on. 3-2 Deer Lakes lead here in the top of inning number 4. The pitch by Brina Karmerninski. As Karmerninski works back in the count, 2-1 now to the right-handed hitting junior. The 2-1 by Karmerninski. In the air, a little looper that gets over the head of Martorelli, and it's a 1-out single for Kaiser, putting a runner at first for the top of the order in Lyda Guthrie.
Again, another hit there that's just able to clear the infield and into shallow outfield. So for Deer Lakes, able to take advantage of Karmerninski again. They've really been having some success against her early. We'll see if that continues.
Here's Lyda Guthrie. 3-year basketball player for Deer Lakes, was a captain this year. Shows bunt, fouls it off. Also did bowling for the Lancers. She'll be attending the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, going for exercise science after graduation here from Deer Lakes. Again, still 1 game both sides at the district level, if I'm not mistaken, as swing and a miss. 0-2, snap throw back to first, not in time, is sliding in safely as Kaiser.
Yeah, UNC Wilmington, quite the unique choice of school here. As don't see a whole lot of Whitfield athletes heading out there.
No balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. The pitch on by Karmerninski, fouled off. As the count stays put. And no matter what, both of these teams, they'll have 1 more game at the district level, as there will be a 3rd place game, and that is an important game. Winner of this game, they'll punch their ticket to the state playoffs. Loser will have to play their way in. Only 3 teams get in out of 3A. So the top 3 teams are 3A qualifiers. That game will actually take place on Thursday at a site to be determined. The 0-2 by Brina Karmerninski. Snap throw back to first, again in safely as Kaiser.
And like you said, with that 3rd place team getting in, that consolation game being played, you know, even if you don't get the Whippeal title that you'd want, you always have a chance if you go ahead and win that game and get the states. You never know.
1-2 in the air left side, ranging under at Lily Dranko, and she'll put the squeeze on it for out number 2 on the F7. I've seen so many times, I mean, case in point here a season ago. On the other side of things, I did a game, Sarah Catholic played Seton LaSalle. Sarah Catholic got blown out 10-0 to Seton LaSalle. They came back, they beat Seton LaSalle in the state playoffs. And that happens more times than you would think, that, you know, you lose in the district playoffs, come back and beat the team in the state level. That happens, you know, way more than you think. Basketball, softball, baseball, you see it all the time. So, you know, just because you lose at the district level doesn't mean you can't win at the state one. I think that one sometimes means a little bit more as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But, again, like you said, that 3rd place game, that's really the importance of it. And probably the reason that it's played for the most part.
We see a couple like in 2A baseball. I know all 4 semifinalists have qualified, but there will be a third-place game. I mean, so it really does just depend. 2A as well for softball. That's one you'll play a third-place game, but all 4 do qualify, at least if that hasn't changed since last year's. Karmaninsky down the count, 3 balls, no strikes to Jenna Basenia. Singled and scored the opening run of the game back in inning number 3, 1 on, 2 down. 3-0. Make it 3-1 on Basenia. She'll be going to Purdue University after graduation. Dual major in psychology and kinesiology. Looking to pursue a career in sports psychology in the future. The 3-1 to the senior. A little flare out to Pakula, and Madison Pakula puts the squeeze on it for out number 3 on the P6. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 Lancer left stranded through 3.5 here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Your score, Deer Lakes 3, South Allegheny 2. As we move to the home half of inning number 4, Mosqueda, Gordon, and Kirkwood, 6, 7, 8. And the Gladiators order due up. And just a reminder to all our viewers out there that this game and the broadcast rights to this game are the sole and exclusive property of the WPIAL and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Any broadcast of this game is intended exclusively for the benefit of the viewing and listening audience, and any use, rebroadcast, or redistribution of this broadcast without the express written consent from the WPIAL and Trib Total Media is strictly prohibited. As we move into the home half of the 4th inning in a 1-run Deer Lakes lead.
See if South Allegheny can continue the rally that they were trying to put on in the last inning. You know, they got that 0 up again on the board that they wanted. No runs allowed in the top of the 4th, and now you're still down 1 run. You chipped into that lead from Deer Lakes a good bit, but see if there's more coming here for the Gladiators.
The other semifinal getting underway in about 10 minutes. First pitch strike. That will also be here on the network as Lou Rude and Tyler Polk will have the call out from Boyce Mayview in Upper St. Clair. The 0-1 in the air, right side, up, out of play by Morgan Mosqueda. Once that game gets starting while we're still on the air, sure, we'll get some updates from Lou Rude out there at Boyce Mayview. As the 0-2 here by Key. Rise up high, 1-2 now on the right-handed hitting Morgan Mosqueda.
Yeah, really good job there from Germanich. Didn't really matter, but to catch that pitch because it looked well over her head, had to leave her feet and make a pretty good play, but regardless, a 1-2 count now.
Swing and a miss. Mosqueda 1 up, 1 down as she strikes out. 4th punch-out victim of the day for Maddie Key. Back-to-back Ks going back to last inning, and here comes Sydney Gordon, struck out looking in inning number 2. Nobody on, 1 out. First pitch, ball 1 to the freshman right fielder, Sydney Gordon. Winner to the 3A WPIAL title game. Loser will play Thursday. Site to be determined against the loser of Avonworth and Southmoreland. That will be for a spot in the state playoffs. The winners qualify in the semis as rise ball swing and a miss by Gordon, the freshman.
Yeah, she took a big cut at that one, unable to find anything on it, and she's going to try to avoid being a strikeout victim for the 2nd time in this one.
1-2, swing and a miss. 3 in a row for Maddie Key. She's punched out 5 now in the contest, 2 up, 2 down. And here comes Lulu Kirkwood, who was also a strikeout victim first time through the order.
Yeah, so right now it's Maddie Key, who's really dealing. As soon as there may have been a glimmer of some offensive hope for South Allegheny, it's being shut down right now.
And SA, their really dangerous part of the lineup is that Pecola through Limley spot where they were able to produce their 2 runs. And right now, trying to keep this inning alive is Lulu Kirkwood. A little pop-up behind home. Finding it is Germanich on the P2 to end the inning as South Allegheny goes down quietly in the home half of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. We've played 4 full innings here from West Mifflin High School. And your score, Deer Lakes holding on to a 3-2 advantage over the South Allegheny Gladiators right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Triple I High School Sports Network.
Are you looking for stress-free car shopping at its finest? Well, then Davies Ford of Charleroi is the place for you. Located 728 McKean Avenue, Davies Ford has something for everybody with a wide selection of models from Ford. So come let us get you in that new car today at Davies Ford of Charleroi.
To get the Ford you want only with the greatest of ease. Pull on down to Davies.
Back here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Triple I High School Sports Network. As back to the bats goes Deer Lakes, as it will be Sarah, Key, and Hazley. 3, 4, and 5, the heart of the order, to up against Brina Karmaninsky for South Allegheny. And this is a crucial spot for Karmaninsky to try to put up another 0.
Yeah, it really is. And like we said, you've got the 1-run deficit. You want to keep it to 1 run. And she's been up and down, I'd say, in this performance. She's looking to try and, again, just make sure that defensively her team is sound and trying to force some soft contact like we saw earlier in the game.
Pitch by Karmaninsky, as that one misses as well. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody on, nobody out here, top 5. As Brina Karmaninsky trying to work through the heart of the order, Sarah, Key, and Hazley. Sarah walked and scored on an error last time to the plate back in the 3rd. The 2-0. Make it 2-1 as Brina working back in the count here for the Gladiators of South Allegheny.
One thing about both of these teams is offensively, as we've moved further into this game, it's been pretty tough to get both of these teams out and all of these batters. It hasn't been easy.
As it goes 3-1, you can see the dismay on the face of the senior pitcher, Brina Karmaninsky. She wanted that call. She did not get it. 3 for Deer Lakes in the 3rd. South Allegheny answered with 3 of their own. The 3-1 here by Karmaninsky. A little flare off the glove of Martorelli into right, and it's a leadoff base runner for the Lancers.
Yeah, really hard hit ball there. It was going to be a tough play to make for South Allegheny and just couldn't quite corral it out there at second. Martorelli, again, it would have been a really outstanding play there defensively, and instead it's going to go down as a hit for Sarah. Hard hit ball that reached into the outfield, a single for them.
Now here's Maddie Key, 2 for 2, 2 singles and RBI. First pitch skies it right side. 2 players collide. Linhart knocks down Martorelli, but Linhart makes the catch, so no harm, no foul, unless you're Martorelli who hit the turf.
And again, there's the communication side of things between the South Allegheny team. Not as good as they were in the outfield there prior, but still able to make the play.
One on, one out. As Karmaninsky pulls the string for strike 1 to Reese Hazley. Brina toes the rubber. The 0-1 by Brina Karmaninsky. Runner goes, throw down, and it's off the mark to Martorelli at second, so a stolen base for Sarah. Runner in scoring position with the one down. Now here for Reese Hazley, the senior center fielder. One on, one out, 1-1 count to the senior Reese Hazley. Karmaninsky rocks and fires the 1-1. That one's launched out to deep center. Limley can just look up and say goodbye. A 2-run shot for Reese Hazley. And Deer Lakes increases their lead. It's 5-2 Lancers, thanks to Reese Hazley.
Yeah, and you could tell the second that she got a hold of that one that it was hit hard and deep to center, the longest part of the park essentially, and you know, she really got a hold of that one. Not what you needed to see if you were South Allegheny and Brina Komarniski. There's been some struggles for her today, and that one was something that she'll want to forget now with, you know, we talked about trying to keep that deficit at 1 run. Well, you haven't done that. You need to make sure it stays at 3 once again now.
5-2 lead here for Deer Lakes as the heart of the order strikes for 2 more. The 2-run shot by Reese Hazley. Now it's Tia Germanich, an RBI single last trip to the plate, strike 1, as Karmaninsky got burned there by the senior. And we talked about the importance here for SA to try to put up the 0. They were unable to, but the lead's only at 3. As bending out of the way of that one was Germanich, thinking it was going to hit her, but Karmaninsky painted the inner third as it's 0-2. Again, still just a 3-run deficit if you're South Allegheny. 1 good inning could easily tie that up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure they're not worried quite yet, but they want to stop this now.
Out to left, and that one's tracked down by Dranko for out 2.
Again, just 1 more out that they need to get now for the Gladiators. The other side of things, if you're Deer Lakes, you've got to love what you just got out of Reese Hazley and, you know, your offense this inning, able to extend this lead and getting down to it late in this game.
As a little flare, Linhart with ease. So back-to-back outs to end the inning. So 2 runs come in to score on 2 hits. No errors, nobody left the board. We've played 4.5. Your score, it's Deer Lakes 5, South Allegheny 2.
Hey, Jim Shorkey here. Just a reminder, if you haven't signed up for the Goal Achiever Challenge yet, please do right now. Don't procrastinate. Jump right on this. Just do it. Get it done. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So make sure you sign up for the Goal Achiever Challenge and check out Jim Shorkey's Pragmatist podcast. To check out that podcast and for more information, visit resultsfromthinking.com.
As we've reached inning number 5, the home half, Deer Lakes increase their lead back up to 3. A 2-run shot by Hazley. First pitch misses, ball 1 to Lily Dranko, 9-1-2 to up. This is the part of the order that scored for South Allegheny to cut the deficit back just to 1. As that one, swing and a miss. Count goes even on Dranko.
Like you said, not a whole ton of pressure on South Allegheny yet. They're not completely up against the wall, but it's getting there. It's late in this game, and they've got to put something up offensively.
As that one's fouled up, out of play. 5-2 lead for Deer Lakes here in the bottom of inning number 5. 2-run shot in the top half for Hazley and the Lancers. As the other way, a leaping grab by Basania, denying Dranko of possibly extra bases down the line.
Yeah, really good play there defensively. Good job by Deer Lakes. And again, you see Bassinia there making a really huge defensive play. Like you said, it could have been extra bases, could have been a double at the very least, and that was going down the right field line, so you never know. It could have been turned into 3 potentially.
First pitch, ball 1 as we're back up top to Madison Pakula. Pitch to Pakula inside, and it's 1-1. 1 out, nobody on. Still here just in the 5th inning, so plenty of time for South Allegheny to get the bats working once again. Bunt shown, Pakula out the third. Kaiser across, and just in time, and SA can't believe it. I have a luxury of going back and looking at this one, and I am going to do just that. Looks like a break possibly for Deer Lakes. As Pakula, from the video, at least my thought process, looked like by half a step may have beat that out. So nonetheless, Deer Lakes got a break and can't look back. Just got to thank that one and try to get out of this inning unscathed against this lethal part of SA's lineup.
And you could see Pakula was frustrated with the call at first. She definitely thought she got in, and she may have.
As the count goes even, 1 ball and 1 strike on Brina Karmerninski, 2 outs and nobody on. Here in the bottom of the 5th. SA, they've always talked about the importance of coming back, answering runs with the runs. They've been unable to do that to this point here this inning.
Again, there's still a bit of time for their response, but
we'll have 2 more cracks at it after this inning.
it's dwindling.
The 1-2 to Karmerninski outside as Brina pulls even with Maddie Key, the left-hander. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. It's 2 close calls here this inning. One was a great play by Bassania. The other one, a bang-bang play at first that Pakula was just unable to beat out on the throw across by Kaiser. Count full on Karmerninski. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The payoff pitch by Maddie Key. Karmerninski lines it through the left side, and it's a 2-out base knock for Brina Karmerninski. Second hit of the game for the senior.
Yeah, it was a hard hit ball once again, out to left. You know, it may have been to her benefit if it got through the hole and was hit a little softer. May have been able to potentially try and stretch for 2, but regardless, really good piece of hitting from her, and we'll see if there's another 2-out rally in this game because there's been quite a few.
Martorelli, a sac fly out to center last time by as she'll take ball 1 on the outer half of the plate. That sac fly was hit pretty well by Ava Martorelli, the sophomore second baseman. The 1-0. Make it 2-0 as that one misses outside as well by Maddie Key. South Allegheny down 5-2 here, bottom of the 5th. 3 runs for Deer Lakes in the top of the 3rd. SA answered with 2 of their own. 2 in the top of the 5th with a 2-run shot by Hazley as that one's lined out to center. Back on it is Hazley, and Hazley will make the grab to end the inning on the F8. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 Gladiator left stranded through 5 full innings of play here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Your score, Deer Lakes 5, South Allegheny 2. As Karmerninski and the Deer Lakes, or in the South Allegheny defense, back to work against Cook, Kaiser, and Guthrie. 8, 9, and 1 here in the top of the 6th for the South Allegheny, or for the Deer Lakes Lancers against the South Allegheny defense. Winner of this game gets either number 1 Avonworth or number 5 Southmoreland. Loser will get the loser of that game on Thursday in the 3rd place game, where it will be a battle for a spot in the state postseason.
So again, I think if you're South Allegheny, it just comes down to obviously trying to keep this deficit at 3, and then you've got to get the bats going at some point. As again, like we said, only 2 more chances for you to try and get back into this one.
As in the air, a little bloop in front of Dranko, and it's a leadoff single for Keegan Cook.
Yeah, no real chance to make a play on that defensively if you're South Allegheny. Over the head of third and well in front of left, so good piece of hitting here for Deer Lakes. Keegan Cook, they're looking to add to this lead.
Scoreless game at Boyce Mayview. And the other semi, bunt back to Karmarninski on to second baseman Martorelli covering the first base bag, so that will go down as a 1-4 sack bunt by Kaiser. As Cook advances 60 feet to second base, and here comes Guthrie. One on, one out, 5-2 lead here for the Lancers. First pitch, a little blooper out to short. There's Pakula with the grab on the P6 once again for out number 2, and now it's up to Basania. 1 for 3, 2 pop-outs to Madison Pakula, and a single, and scored the opening run of this game back in the top of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, Pakula has been active defensively in this game, making several plays at short, as you might expect. And we'll see if she has any more to make.
Strike 1 as Karmarninski paints the outer third to Jenna Basania. 1 for 3 again as the senior first baseman. She'll dig in against the righty. Karmarninski looking for a big 0 here to keep it at a 3-run deficit. Pitch by Karmarninski out to Martorelli, on to Lindhart. So a 4-batter inning with no runs against Brina Karmarninski. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left aboard. Through 5.5 innings here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Triple Live High School Sports Network. Your score, Deer Lakes 5, South Allegheny 2, as it's the penultimate chance for the Gladiators here this afternoon from West Mifflin. Very brisk moving game. Bottom of the 6th, just 4-11. After a almost 3-hour game last evening, I'm not going to complain too much about this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been quite the fast-paced game, as there were a few extra innings games in some other classifications yesterday, and some extra softball for everyone to witness. There could potentially still be some here, but for that to happen, South Allegheny is going to have to start getting something going offensively. Like we said, 5-2, trailing by 3. If you're Deer Lakes, you just want to keep this as is.
4, 5, and 6. First pitch ball to Peyton Lindhart. Lindhart, big-time power bat for this team. Already saw her double to the gap with 2 outs earlier today. Would love to repeat that. Instead, a little flare over the head of Key. Going to be a tough play, but they'll get Lindhart at first. As it's Kaiser to Basania. 5-3. Lindhart retired. And here is now Peyton Limley, the senior center fielder, 0 for 2. Last time up, struck out with a runner at second. That was Lindhart and 2 down. Again, the penultimate chance at the bats to tie for South Allegheny or take the lead. Unless they do tie or take the lead. 1 out, nobody on. Maddie Key has held the Gladiators in check here today. As that one misses ball 1.
This is where if you're South Allegheny, you need some of your big-time bats to get something going. Linhart not able to do so, but we'll see if Limley can.
That one inside is Limley raising the arms, keeping them out of the way. And she almost wore that one. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. The pitch home by Key. And that one misses outside as it goes 3-1 on Peyton Limley. On deck, Morgan Mosqueda. Limley would love to be on for her and bring the tying run to the on-deck circle. The 3-1 to Limley. Limley chopper left side foul.
Looks like she's clearly being pitched inside, and she's not really been able to turn on one. She's chopped several to her left and foul. See if she can get something going here for the Gladiators in a time where they desperately need it.
Pitch on by Key. Limley in the air, left side, playable for Cook. And Keegan Cook camps under it to make the grab for out number 2 on the F7. And now it's Morgan Mosqueda.
That brings up the catcher, number 16, Morgan Mosqueda.
If Maddie Key completes the 1-2-3 inning, it will be 7, 8, 9 due up in the 7th for South Allegheny.
Yeah, with the Whitfield title chances on the line, so not exactly what you'd want if you're the Gladiators, but we'll see if they can flip that around.
See if they can get some 2-out magic, starting with the sophomore Mosqueda. As Mosqueda digs in, down 0-1, 2 outs, nobody on, pitch home. Inside, as that one almost got a piece of Morgan Mosqueda.
She's another one for the Gladiators. Hasn't reached with a hit. Did get hit by a pitch, so she has been on the base paths, but hasn't been able to put a ball in play herself.
1-1, little flare to third, ranging in is Kaiser. As Delaney Kaiser bookends the inning. A ground out to Kaiser, then a pop out. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. Brina Karmaninski back to work in the circle, trying to keep it just a 3-run deficit. As Deer Lakes will look for some insurance in the top here of inning number 7. They are up 5-2, a 3-run third inning for the Deer Lakes Lancers, as it was a couple of base runners getting aboard after the first 2 batters of the inning were retired. Singles by Basenia, Sarah. Then an RBI single by Key brought home Basenia on the error. Sarah came in to score. That made it 2-0. And then it was Hazley, an infield single, and an RBI single by Germanich, bringing home Lorenza from third. That made it 3-0 in favor of Deer Lakes. South Allegheny would answer with a pair in the third, a leadoff single by Dranko, and then a single by Picola. She would advance to third on the error by the third baseman Kaiser. An RBI ground out by Karmaninski plated Dranko. A sac fly by Martorelli brought home Picola. That made it 3-2. Fast forward to the 5th inning, and it was a 1-out, 2-run shot by Reese Hazley, bringing home Sarah. And Hazley, who was on base 3 times a day with 3 hits, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Great day at the office for the senior center fielder, Reese Hazley.
Stepping in to lead off the top of the 7th.
As it will be Sarah, Key, and Hazley due up.
Shane, Sarah.
As all 3 of these batters have reached a base at least twice. Hazley 3 times here in this one. The first pitch by Karmaninski, line through the left side. It's a leadoff single by Sarah. As great start to the 7th for Deer Lakes.
Another hard hit ball there by Sarah. Puts one, just lines one into the grass in the outfield. Good piece of hitting there to get an early base runner on. And like you said, they're looking for some insurance as they look to put South Allegheny down.
First pitch by Karmaninski misses outside to Maddie Key. The pitcher trying to give herself some more insurance. 1 on, nobody out. 5-2 advantage for Deer Lakes here in the 3A semifinals. Winner gets the winner of Avonworth and Southmoreland. Pitch home by Brina Karmaninski. That one's lined out to Martorelli. Pakula for one on the first double play. 4-6-3. Martorelli, Pakula, Linhart.
Really a big play defensively for South Allegheny. It was a routine sort of double play ball there, and they were able to make it happen. You know, those are the types of things that you need to make at this point in the game, and that'll help you out defensively.
Pitch by Karmerninski through the 5, full of Mosquito to the backstop for ball one on Reese Hazley, who's been the hottest hitter this afternoon. 3 for 3, 2 infield singles, and a 2-run shot over the center field fence as Reese Hazley digs back in. Pitch home by Karmerninski. That one's lined, and Lulu Kirkwood at the hot corner snares it. It's an L5 and a great play by Lulu Kirkwood to retire Hazley for the first time today. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left aboard. It's do or die for South Allegheny here in the home half of inning number 7. What does the 2 seed have left in store for Maddie Key in this Deer Lakes defense? It's going to be 7, 8, 9, Gordon, Kirkwood, Dranko, barring any pinch hitters. And I think we are going to see one of those to start for Coach Stockett as Brina Karmerninski, the senior, comes out and has a word with Kalechi. Cameron Kalechi will do the honors for Sydney Gordon.
Gordon, Kirkwood, Dranko. Coming up for South Allegheny.
So Kalechi will pinch hit here to lead off the 7th inning. Do or die the lefty against lefty Maddie Key. It's do or die. SA needs 3 runs. As the freshman Cameron Kalechi.
Stepping into the box for South Allegheny. Right fielder 11, Sydney Gordon. Direction, pinch hitter, Cameron Kalechi.
First pitch to Cam Kalechi. Check swing. Appeal. And they say no swing, so ball 1 on Cam Kalechi. Pinch hitting here for Sydney Gordon. As the lefty digs back in against Maddie Key. Deer Lakes 3 outs away from moving to the WPIAL Championship. 2-0 now on Kalechi. As the Lancers, they're looking for their first trip since 2017. They lost Elwood City that year. They haven't won a title since 2015. That was against Mohawk, the 2-0. 3-0 to Kalechi. Three balls, no strikes. Lulu Kirkwood on deck. Cam Kalechi trying to extend things here. The pitch by Maddie Key. And it's a 4-pitch walk to the freshman pinch hitter, Cam Kalechi. Just what the doctor ordered for SA here in the bottom of the 7th.
You're absolutely right. Now, again, you're down 3. It's do or die. This is it for you. And your pinch hitter there able to reach base.
Kirkwood shows bump, pulls back. 5 straight balls now by Maddie Key.
Kalechi reaches on a walk.
One ball, no strikes, nobody out. Kalechi at first, 5-2 advantage for Deer Lakes. Pitch to Lulu, Kirkwood pulls back, and that one catches the outer third of the strike zone to even things up. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, nobody out. Bottom of the 7th inning, 3 outs away from a Lancers trip to the 3A championship game. The 1-1 to Lulu Kirkwood, bunt shown, laid down first base line, and enough English to roll foul, as that would have possibly put runners at the corners if Kirkwood would have beat it out and it stayed fair, as there was no one covering the third base bag. As that's something maybe if you are Deer Lakes, you have to notice we got to have someone shift over. That should be the shortstop, Sarah, to make sure that's not an extra free 60 feet to Kalechi, but that run does not matter. They're up by 3. Pitch to Kirkwood, struck her out. There's out number 1. 6 punch out of the game for Maddie Key.
That brings up
Now here's Lily Dranko.
Number 7, Lily Duranko.
Dranko a single and scored the first of 2 SA runs. Lined out to the first baseman, robbed of extra bases by Bassania. Back in the 5th, first pitch swinging, fouled off right side, and that one gets out of play. So staying alive there is Lily Dranko, the sophomore left fielder. Deer Lakes looking to get back to the big dance for the first time since 2017. SA hasn't been there since 2011 as Dranko fouls it off again. Actually, that was the last time they were in the semifinals. It's been a long time for SA as they're just trying to get there. A heavy senior group for the Gladiators. The 0-2 to Dranko by Maddie Key. A little flare over the head of Bakulich. And it's a single. There goes Kalechi, and she's in a rundown. And this might end it as Kalechi got caught in the rundown. So it's a single and a base running blunder by SA.
Yeah, that's tough to swallow if you're South Allegheny. You know, you put your trust on the shoulders of the freshman as a pinch hitter, draws a walk, does a good job in that. And then there, just a mistake on the base paths that, again, will be just a tough pill to swallow for the Gladiators.
And the issue comes that it was the hesitation. If Kalechi runs cleanly, she probably makes it to the third base bag, putting runners at the corners with 1 out. But it was that hesitation, either got a commit, and it was a late break as well off the first base bag, having to make sure that got over the head of Bakulich out at second base. But Lily Dranko did her job, a little flare single the other way, and it should have been the tying run at the plate in the form of Madison Pakula. And if you were a South Allegheny, 2 on and 1 out for Pakula, and then Karmaninsky, you had to like your chances of possibly coming back and winning this game. And now you're in the hole, and it needs to be some 2-out magic. The Lancers did that in the 3rd. Can Madison Pakula started here for SA? First pitch, ball 1 to Madison Pakula, 1 on, 2 outs. SA down to their final out as the Lancers trying to punch their ticket to the WPIAL 3A championship game. The 1-0 evens up at 1-1 as Pakula kept the bat on the shoulder. South Allegheny might have run themselves out of this game. Pakula trying to keep her high school district season alive. A little flare. Going to be a tough play for the catcher, Germanich, and no play. On to third goes the runner, Dranko, and safe at second is Pakula on almost another base running issue. South Allegheny almost running themselves right out of the building.
Yeah, so able to reach second there is Pakula after the unique job there that South Allegheny did on the base paths. But again, it was an issue that you mentioned before. Sarah, the shortstop for Deer Lake, supposed to be covering third, not over to cover. So it was a free base there for South Allegheny to take because there was no one to throw to. So that could be an error that could hurt this Deer Lakes team.
Tying run at the dish. First pitch strike to Karmaninsky, and this is where things get a little even more dicey, that SA could have the bases loaded with 1 out for Karmaninsky. But again, a base running issue for South Allegheny. See if Karmaninsky can pick up her teammates. That's what they've done all year long. They pick each other up. Karmaninsky will look to do that as it's 1-1. The senior trying to keep it alive and turn things over to Ava Martorelli. Rena Karmaninsky. The 1-1 by Maddie Key. Karmaninsky, little flare. That's gonna drop off the glove of Hazley. That plates a pair. And SA down by just 1. A 2-out, 2-run single for Brina Karmaninsky. Saying we're not done yet. As scoring is Dranko and Pakula.
Like you said, just a flare. Really made it a tough play for Hazley to get over and try and field it. In the end, just off her glove, she's unable to make the play, and all of a sudden, you're down 1 run if you're South Allegheny, still trying to rally with 2 outs, and You know, again, I hate to kind of reflect on it, but that base running error by Kalechi really coming up big right now.
First pitch, strike one. Pitch to Martorelli. Martorelli out to short. Underhand toss to the bag, and they got her. No! It was a clean run by Sarah to end the game, as it's a 6 unassisted retirement of Karmerninski. And Deer Lakes holds on. SA strikes for 2 in the 7th, but that's not enough. 5-4 your final. As South Allegheny, the comeback comes short. Deer Lakes on to the championship game. Sarah, 6 unassisted, ends it. 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors, 1 left aboard. But Deer Lakes back to the WPIAL championship game for the first time since 2017. They'll be looking for their first title since 2015 in a thriller here from West Mifflin, but South Allegheny falls just short here this afternoon. We'll take a break, come back, recap it, and send you on your way here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Life is full of surprises. Some good, some not so good. It's why your State Farm agent is there with good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates for everyone. Yep, that's right. At State Farm, you get great service and great rates with every policy, so you can be prepared for all life's surprises. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. When you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Brian Warnick in Perryopolis today at 412-668-0111.
Back here from West Mifflin, your final score, Deer Lakes, the 3 seed, on to the WPIAL championship game. They win 5-4 over the South Allegheny Gladiators. The 2 seed will be back in action on Thursday as they will take on the loser of the Avonworth and Southmoreland game for a spot in the state playoffs. As South Allegheny tried to come back, they were unable to. As we will recap things for you here. As South Allegheny base running blunder cost them in the 7th inning. Gave them an out on the base path, and that's what kind of propelled Deer Lakes to victory, as it was a 3-run third for the Lancers to start the scoring, all with 2 outs. A single, a walk, an error allowing Sarah to score on the single by Maddie Key. That made it 2-0 Deer Lakes, and then it was an RBI single by Germanich, making it 3-0 Lancers, as quickly South Allegheny would answer with 2 of their own in the 3rd. A leadoff single by Dranko, a single by Pakula, RBI ground out by Karmerninski, sac fly by Martorelli. That made it 3-2 after 3, and then a 2-out home, or a 1-out 2-run home run by Reese Hazley in the 5th inning, took the lead back up to 3 for the Deer Lakes Lancers, as Deer Lakes would hold that advantage into the 7th inning. The home half, it was a leadoff walk, then a strikeout by Lulu Kirkwood, bringing up Dranko. Dranko would single, and that's when Cameron Kalechi was caught out on the base path. A 9-6 retirement of Kalechi for out number 2. Single by Pakula, 2-run single by Karmerninski, bringing up Martorelli. Grounded out to Sarah, took it to the bag herself for the fielder's choice to end the game. South Allegheny 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 7th, 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 5 left on base for Deer Lakes. 3 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th for 5 runs, 11 hits, 1 error, and 6 left on base, as the winning pitcher is Maddie Key. The loss goes to Brina Karmerninski. Deer Lakes, they will be dancing at California, trying to get that WPIO title for the first time since 2015. They will take on the winner of Avonworth and Southmoreland, as South Allegheny, they'll be back in action on Thursday, playing the loser of that game for a spot in the state playoffs. So, update from Lou Rude before we send you on your way. That game is scoreless in the bottom of the third, but on behalf of everyone here at MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, I'm Alex Lyon saying thanks for joining us here on this beautiful afternoon from West Mifflin. Your final score, Deer Lakes 5, South Allegheny 4, as Deer Lakes to the 3A WPIAL championship game. Have a great, great rest of your Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow with more action on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. One final time, your final score, Deer Lakes to the WPIAL championship game. They win it 5-4 over number 2 South Allegheny.